last video, we helped Saurav understand some key financial statements and how having an understanding of these can help in decision making. Our expert Marie-Lise Lechera, trainer from ML2 Formation and Council, also described how keeping operations and finances separate are beneficial for a business. In the next few sessions, we will be covering some key metrics to evaluate the operations of a company. You may look at numbers and feel the performance of a business is amazing, but is that really the case? Let's ask Marie.
Let's formalize the key metrics that are usually computed in order to monitor the performance delivered by the operations of a given company. We said the first question we would like to raise would be, how much profit did the operations generate out of $1 of sales? So let's open up an income statement and let's have a look. We need to locate the operating income. That must be roughly in the middle of the income statement. So there it is. And then we can compute that operating income as a percentage of the sales revenue. And here we're going to say that we have an operating income of 5% or an operating margin of 5%. Is that good? Is that bad? Well, actually, I don't know. These numbers depend very much on the industry we are in. And even within an industry, things can change very much over time and between different competitors. I took an example in the automotive industry, for example, and I looked at the income statement of different companies from 2015 to 2019 and see the results here on that graph. You can see a top performer in that industry. That has been the case for the past 5 years. This is Toyota. Strong performance, very robust performance throughout the different years, something stable, an operating margin stable around 8%. Then you have different types of competitors. You have, for example, Volkswagen. They were in trouble by 2015. That was the time of the Dieselgate. Somebody not knowing the story would feel like, hey, how come they were at a loss in 2015 while everybody else was making money? What happened then? So you would have a look into the financial statements, read the notes, and you would learn about the Dieselgate and the problems it generated at the company. But see, they are now back on track. It took them quite some time, but after 2 years, they were back on track. And as of 2017, you can see their operating margin close to 6% and even slightly above 6% last year. Well done. Another interesting company to look at would be PSA, Peugeot Citroën. PSA was not in a very nice situation by 2015, and the situation was even worse in the past years before 2015. Actually, the group went very close to bankruptcy because they took time before they truly made some strategic decisions to close underutilized plants, to renew some of the cars in the product portfolio. So by that time, the company wasn't doing really well. Then a new CEO came on board, decided to turn around the situation, and really things started to change when Mr. Tavares arrived. And gradually you see the performance of PSA increasing year on year in a very steady manner. And in 2018, 2019, they had a performance very close to the one of Volkswagen, who is one of the best performers in Europe. So that looks as well like an outstanding performance. And then we have two more groups. We have Ford from the US and we have Nissan from Asia, from Japan, who are in different situations. It's a different trend there. A decreasing trend year on year for the past 5 years. That is pretty worrying. In 2019, you can see that Ford was able to keep a slightly positive operating income, while Nissan was slightly below zero. But I wouldn't say that Ford did a much better job than Nissan, and both are in very dangerous situations. Any slight movement in their volume of sales is going to put them at a loss. And we're likely to see huge volatility in their profits in the upcoming years. And that's an interesting measure to look at, because it enables us to challenge the performance. What happens? Dear management team, could you tell us what happened? Did we not sell okay? Do customers not like our products? Do we not manage to sell for high enough a price? Do customers not recognize the value we are delivering? Is our production equipment too large, too old, not efficient enough? How do our costs compare to the other OEMs? What happens? There are plenty of questions that can be raised here. Some would be strategic, some would be more operational, but there are plenty of issues to address here. I'd really like to learn more about those two companies. I'm keen on reading their annual presentations to learn more about that and how they plan to turn around the situation. In the following minutes, I invite you to do the same type of exercise on your own in an industry sector of your choice with the companies of your choice. Pick up at least one company and try and find on the web their financial statements and do compute their operating margin. Ideally, if you could look at its evolution over a few years and against competition, you would learn a lot. Please share your findings with your peers so that all of you can have access to different profitability levels in different industry sectors and different countries.
So what are you waiting for? Let's have a discussion in the comments on the operating margin of any industry of your choice. Also, in the income statement displayed by Murray, you must have noticed the word EBIT and EBITDA. If you want to understand what that means, we have linked a video in the description along with a link to our MBA courses where you can cover these metrics in more detail.